came back from lunch, so we're going to start our class with a small activity. So it's a warm-up that will get you guys in the right mindset for our activity. So I'm going to pass this out, and you guys are going to have to share. So we're going to read the Scholar's Creed, which is basically a motivational poem for our class. So I'm going to read it, and you guys repeat after me. So at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Society will draw a circle that shuts me out, but my superior thoughts will draw me in. I believe in my ability to do my best at all times. Just for today, I will listen, I will speak, I will think, I will read, and I will write. I will try my hardest using this day to the fullest. This is my day, and once past, it can never come again. But I can rest well when this day is done, knowing that I have given it my full excellence. I am strong. I am brilliant. I will succeed. Okay. Now we're going to transition to our next activity. So today's activity is reading for deeper meaning. So basically, I'm going to teach you guys a technique for reading and analyzing a text. So for analyzing text, there are 3 components to it. The first one is dissecting the text. So what that basically means is you're going to read a text and you're going to box pronouns so that you know who is speaking to us in the text, or who the narrator is, basically. So you're going to box pronouns, and then you're going to circle words that you do not know what they mean. So words that you want to define. And then you're going to underline any information that you think reveals something about the characters or about the story or the plot, the setting. Okay. Is that clear to you guys? Yes. So basically the text is three components to it. Box pronouns, circle words that you need to define, and underline information that you think is important because it reveals something about the narrator, the character, or about anything relating to the setting or plot of the story. Okay, so that's the first component to reading for deeper meaning. The second part is analyzing. So basically, when you analyze text, you basically annotate whatever you think is important on the margin of the paper. So after you circle your word, you're going to define it on the margin, and after you underline information, you're going to write on the margin why you think that information is important. So analyzing, which is basically writing on the margin what do you think is important. You think it's important. And then the third component to reading for a deeper meaning is interpreting. And what that basically means is when you're writing your paragraph about what you think the reading is about, you're going to write your interpretation. So what did you learn from the reading? So basically write a small paragraph at the end about what you think the reading reveals. And an easy way to remember this is DAI, dissect, analyze, interpret. Do you guys have any questions about this technique? Maria?
Okay, so the last part is interpreting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just a summary of what we read, or is it like sort of just taking the whatever we wrote on the side and summarizing that information?
It's basically taking what you wrote on the margin and showing how how you are reading the information. So basically, your thoughts of the reading. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna take this off, and we're gonna be analyzing a small poem called "Abandoned Farmhouse" by Ted Kooser. And I'm gonna have you guys read each a stanza of the poem. So, who would like to go first? Any volunteers? Polly, can you read the first stanza, which starts from he and ends in barn?
Okay. He was a big man, says the sign of his shoes. On a pile of broken dishes by the house. A tall man too, says the length of the bed. In an upstairs room, and a good, God-fearing man, says the Bible with a broken back. On the floor below the window, dusty with sun. But not a man for farming, says the fields, cluttered with boulders and the leaky barn.
Thank you, Polly. Who wants to read the next stanza? Should we go in order? So, Jorge, would you mind reading this?
A woman lived with him, says the bedroom wall, papered with lilacs and the kitchen shelves covered with oilcloth. And they had a child, says the sandbox made from a tractor tire. Money was scarce, says the jars of plum preserves, and canned tomatoes sealed in the cellar hole. In the winter's cold, says the rags. In the window, it was lonely here, says the narrow country road.
And then Maria, the last stanza.
Something went wrong, says the empty house, and the weed-choked yard stones in the fields. Says he was not a farmer, the still sealed jars. And the sailor says that he left in nervous haste. And the child, its toys are strewn, what is that, like strewn in the yard, like branches after a storm, a rubber cow, a rusty tractor with a broken plow, a dull and overall something went wrong, they say.
Okay. After reading this, are there any words that you guys do not understand? If there's any words that you guys don't know the definitions to. And if you do, you can come up and circle that word, because that's our first step. When we're dissecting, one of the steps is to circle the words that we need to define. So, is there any words? Strewn. Which is?
Its toys were strewn in the yard.
Okay. Strewn. Any words that you don't know, Jorge?
Nervous haze,
Okay.
about.
No space. See this word. When you circle words to define them, it's not just like circling the word. You actually have to read the context of the other words around it so that you know what the definition of the word circle is. So it says, and the child, its toys are strewn in the yard. Based on this sentence, what do you think the word strewn might mean?
All over.
All over the place.
Abandoned everywhere.
So all over the place. And what did you say?
Oh, basically the same thing, just abandoned everywhere.
So scattered.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other word. So the sentence says, something went wrong, says the empty house, and the weed choked yard. Stones in the fields, and the sailor said that he left in nervous haste. So he left in nervous haste. Based on that context, what do you think the word haste might mean?
In a hurry or
Hurry. Any other thoughts?
Maybe
Weird.
somewhat panicky.
Panicky? Okay. The other step is boxing pronouns. So we're going to read this one more time. It says he, so you're going to box he. He was a big man, says the size of his. So who is his?
He.
Yeah, the he, so the man. On a pile of broken dishes by the house in an upstairs room, and a good fearing man on the floor below the windows. So the good man. Do you guys understand who the man is and He is basically like the man. A woman. I'll just let you guys do this. Any pronouns that you guys see?
They had a child. A woman living.
Where? Where is they?
Third line. Oh no, third line of the second
In the
sentence.
second? They. Any other pronouns? Him. Which is where?
First line.
Him. Any other pronouns? Him. When we're talking about him, who are we referring to?
The man.
The men. They. So who are they? They is the man and the woman. Any information that we think might help us analyze the text? He was a big man, says the size of his shoes. Does that matter, do you think? No. On a pile of broken dishes by the house, in an upstairs room, and a good God-fearing man. Do you think that's important? Does that tell us anything about the character? Yeah. Man. So that's basically what you do when you analyze. You underline what you find important and then you write on the margin. And then for interpreting, that's something that you guys are gonna do on your own because I cannot tell you guys how to interpret what we're reading. But basically the question that you guys are gonna have to answer is, what do you think this tells us about the man and the woman? And what do you think went wrong based on the things that we underlined and boxed and circled? I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to do this activity, and after that we are going to share with the class.